Ulipata kitu leo?
It wasn't all that like, Hollywood stuff, but we tried to more like it.
Yeah.
It was just...
Welcome to the Sit Down, where we have conversations with creators from across this beautiful motherland of ours. My name is Mark Ombowe, a filmmaker and an all-round story lover. And today we're sitting down with Ishmael Azeli, a focus spooler who has all global accolades that you can imagine. He has worked with production houses like Ahoy Films from South Africa, Quiet Bird Films from Kenya, Mermaid Production from New York, Ginger Inc., Blue Sky Films. I'm telling you, the list is endless. So sit down and settle in.
You are not the thief, but I know you know who he is.
Okay, so how do I even say welcome back? What is it going?
What do you want to say?
I don't. I have no idea. But a lot of this is just maybe starting out with you and saying who is a focus puller and what is that role? What do they do?
So a focus puller or a fast AC is in charge, or is a person who works in the camera department and is also in charge of making sure that all the subjects that are framed for are sharp and are within the focal range that's supposed to be.
And what does focus pulling involve? What's that about? What do you need? What is it about? Yeah.
Focus pulling involves a lot of things. One, I think it involves someone needs to have a lot of discipline and listening than talking. You know what I mean? So that's one. So you need to listen a lot and to watch a lot than you respond to things.
Yeah.
And you need to have a lot of discipline because we work with different people, different in terms of DOPs. So you never know who you're gonna meet next, and so then you have to be very careful on how you approach things, the way you understand them. And also they have to be really patient with people because we have DOPs who are really tempered and you have DOPs who are really out of their place, and it's nothing to do with you, it's everything to do with the job they are brought into. So you have to cope up with them, and you have to understand them. So you have to be really disciplined and really patient with them. And also, I think also focus pulling comes with a lot of respect to gear. So you have to respect your gear. You have to respect, like literally from the word go, you have to respect your gear. Make sure your gear is clean. Make sure your gear is, your batteries are all in proper state. Not the ones that they are full and then you plug into camera, they're dead after 2 minutes and they're showing they're full. So you have to know all that tricks. You have to know how to do major basic skills like it's not welding. I almost call it welding.
Yeah, but I guess
soldering.
I know, but how do you? I guess if I was starting out and I wanted to be fastest seer focus puller, what equipment? What do I need to have in my arsenal?
Yeah, and I think the first thing to have is a bag.
What do you mean a bag?
A bag.
Oh, a bag. I'm like, you need to have a bag?
Yeah, you need to have a bag.
Yeah.
You need to have a bag. Like, I'm talking in terms of, there's passion. You have to have passion for that. For sure. You need to have a bag. Generally, you need to have a bag that comprises of what you need as a focus puller, and that is like Allen keys and Leatherman mostly. Yeah, and a screwdriver. Yeah, but then the skills come with you, of course.
I mean, when it comes to the world of focus pulling, what's there in the camera? Like people be like, oh, buy a Canon, buy Nikon. What do you need to when someone sees this, I'll be like, oh, this is definitely a focus puller coming. Is there like a set of things other than the Allen key, the bag, and the screwdrivers? What's the equipment mostly used?
I think you really don't need a camera as a focus puller, but it's really nice if you have one. For me, I know one thing I did is I tried getting a camera on with me because that's how I could train. As much as maybe you don't have constant work, as I said, because you have to keep doing it constantly for your hands to get used to it, for you to get into it. So I bought a camera that had a lens, and that lens is the one I use to kind of even pull focus in my place, wherever around I am. So it's also nice when you own your own. It's when you have your own gear where you own something.
Yeah.
So then it gives you a bit of exposure in terms of getting used to the gear and getting used to focus pulling.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say there's a standard camera for that.
Yeah.
So if you have like say an A7S, which is a full frame camera, and you have like a 52 prime, that can help you a lot.
Yeah. There's this whole movement about people, your lens has to be, especially in the indie world, the lens has to be good in autofocus, good in. Do you think like someone who wants to be a focus puller should only buy like manual lenses? Should buy lenses with T-stops rather than f-stops? What's the kind of language that a focus puller needs to understand, and what things can they use to practice?
I think in layman's language, I think the best the way to approach this is to say, if you want to be a focus puller, never go automatic. Yeah, it's a no-go zone. Even myself, when like I'm always disturbed when someone gives me his camera and it's an autofocus. I always find it a bit weird, which is okay for them. It's nothing to do with them. It's everything to do with me, and it's something in me. So for you to be a focus puller, you can't be using autofocus. No, even on stills picture, don't use autofocus. Try use manual. You rather lose it. You rather not get the focus and getting next time than going the autofocus. So I also don't believe in the world where we have this autofocus face tracking cameras and lenses. No, I don't believe in that. So I mean, if you're a focus puller and if you really want to be a focus puller, the only way out is to go all the way manual, and that's the way to hack it, because then you get used to it. Yeah, so no autofocus, not at all.
And I guess that almost prompts me to ask, do you think machines will take over? That autofocus will be so good that you wouldn't need like a focus puller?
I'll tell you for a fact, I have a Sony this year. Sony released a camera that's called FX9, and I got it because I had already like a pre-order. One of the best things about that camera is focus. It's autofocus, even on a macro lens. But still, yeah, I have a G Series 90 macro that I normally try to do, pack shots with it and beauty shots with it. But still, the autofocus is so perfect. Even on, let's say, if you're using like a 16 or 35 maximum, it's okay. It's really nice. It's working, but it's never gonna replace focus pullers.
And is there a particular skill that someone needs to have? Is it like how to turn the knobs? Is it the distance from the lens? What's the physics or something that someone needs to be able to have to be a good focus puller?
As I said, it takes time, so you have to be really, first of all, you have to be really good in distance.
What do you mean by distance? Yeah.
You have to tell, let's say, if I ask you how, is this 1 meter, is this 2 centimeters, is this, that, you have to be really, really good at that.
Yeah.
Because then with that helps you in terms of pulling, because then you don't have to keep checking. You can check the monitor, but you're checking it for confirmation, not for not for the first instances, like you have to pull then check, not checking then pull, So yeah, so that. So then there's that. You have to be really good in distance and stretches and all that, and you also have to be good in anticipating things, because you never, as I said, the actor might run. You might have framed for the actor to run that way, and then in between the shot, something happens in front of the actor. Then you have to divert, and you can't cut because it's still good for the shot, for the film. Then you have to be very good in anticipating. Don't just go to the end mark. Like if I mark my point A and point B, and I'm just waiting for me to go to point B, and then it doesn't go there. Branches, then you've lost it. Then you have
how do you know that without a monitor? At least with a monitor nowadays you have peaking, so you have something to assist you to know whether or not you're in for. But how do you do that without a monitor? If an actor decides to like change direction or doesn't hit the mark, or how do you do that manually without a monitor?
But that's the thing. Like you have to really anticipate everything. Yeah, you might be very good in hitting the points, but then the actor misses his. So you really need to be very good in anticipating and knowing that you have different points. So, but if he crosses point B, then the focus might fall between this point and this point, but he can't go beyond this point. So then if he doesn't go all the way to the end, then he's still on the same line or something like that. Also, you need to know the direction, because I normally like pulling reverse. So by reverse, I mean the hand grip, the focus. So for me, I like pulling, like if the objects are coming closer to the camera, which is that's closer to me, right? So I like doing it this way. So if I pull it backwards, so I know it's coming towards me. So if I push it like this, like clockwise, I'm throwing it away. But everyone else, I think even 90% of the people in the industry, or 90% of pullers, like it the other way around. So it's also something, like for me, every time I have that hand grip, I quickly change the settings, and because it also has like a reverse thing you always do. So that's how my mind works. So it's different. So you never know what gear you're gonna be using on a set until you get there.
So do you think then a tape measure should be part of your arsenal of tools?
Tape measure for sure. It's part of your tape measure is part of your thing, but also I don't advise mostly using tape measure. I advise mostly. The only time you have to use the tape measure is the time you're doing gear check. So then with that, you're checking if your lenses are actually calibrated well.
That makes a lot of sense.
Ulipata kitu leo? Baki hapo.
Ingewezekana.
He's a poacher for sure.
Nicola, do not go after that man.
She's sending us straight to a gang of terrorists.
Zendelea kuishi hapa. Songo anahitaji dawa.
Na atapata.
You are not the thief. But I know you know who he is.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
So maybe you can tell us a bit about the project before you tell us more about your role and what you're doing on it.
Yeah, so the project was directed by one. It's called Tom Whitworth. Yeah, Tom Whitworth. He's British. He's British. So and he's a really nice friend of mine. And the project also was shot by me and a friend of mine called Nathan Pryor.
Yeah.
It was I would call it a pilot project. Yeah, but it ended up to be really something, and it's still doing some rounds anyway.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm really proud of to start with. And also, so what happened is we didn't have enough, enough resources, let's say.
Yeah.
Because it was self-funding.
Yeah.
From the director, and it was also produced like UBF, Quite Bad Films producers.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. It was a nice experience. I remember I had to pull focus because at one point we had 2 cameras, especially the one for the plane.
Yeah.
When Brian is running towards the camera, and then the plane just comes and
sweeps.
Yeah. So that I was on a 400 mm, I think 400 mm. Yeah. I had to pull focus on that.
So I guess you can ask first, what equipment were you guys shooting with? What was the camera? What was the package?
It wasn't all that like Hollywood stuff, but we tried to make more like it.
Yeah.
It was just a 7, which was the main camera. Shooting 4K, and then there was that particular part, and the night scenes were done by the A7S.
Yeah.
And so, and the particular shot that I'm talking about, the one for 400 mm, we had to read the S7S.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but we hacked it. It was 400 mm, I think, on a doubler, so it was about 800, and an A7S. So it was looking quite a beast.
I can definitely. That's something we're gonna show and see how it looks. Yeah. And I guess, were you still shooting and pulling focus on that alone?
Yeah, I was pulling myself alone. Yeah, because then the other camera was on the side, shooting Brian on the side.
Yeah.
So my shot was to get him.
Yeah.
And the other camera was to get him alone on the side, on the ground level. So I had to pull myself. So the other DP was on another camera. So of course I had to pull it myself and operate. So it was hectic.
Yeah.
We did 2 takes. I remember I did 2 takes, but I got the first one was totally crap. Yeah. But this one worked. We tried. I tried on that one. I remember it was epic though. It was epic, and we were just walking in the bush and this is Savo, by the way. Yeah.
How long was the shoot?
Was what was it? 2 weeks? Yeah, well, 2.5 weeks.
That must have been intense. So that
it was super intense because we were not running on a budget, I say.
Yeah.
But we had to make it work. Pull it through.
Yeah, and how do you deal with that bright light grass really has a way of reflecting a lot of light.
Yeah.
Throwing in a lot of that green into the scene. So how are you managing a lot of that? And did you have a monitor while you're pulling focus, or was it all?
I didn't have a monitor. No, I was operating and pulling, so I had the small
screen.
Yeah, just the one on the camera.
Yeah. And just how did you guys get close like this? Intro shot of the elephants.
This one was pre-done. We shot it before the main the main shoot. Yeah, so we do some B-rolls and everything else separately. But it was just long lenses and trying to be safe. Yeah.
Because elephants are not the easiest.
But on previous experiences, I've had an encounter with an elephant. It wasn't something so nice.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, as we wrap on this, anything else you'd like to share about focus pooling and what focus pooling is all about?
I think my final words would be let's keep pushing it. Let's keep doing that art. Keep focus pooling. It's a job like any other job. The only thing you have to do in this job is just to do your job correctly.
Yeah.
That's how I'll put it. Because if that, as I said, that one day you miss it, then everyone else will remember it, apart from you. But the good days, no one will remember it. Yeah. So just keep doing it. Keep, don't. And I don't think there's a right time to call yourself a focus puller. Apart from that time that people actually realize that you're actually a proper focus puller.
Okay. And if someone wants to ask you a question or anything, do you have an Instagram handle or?
Yes, I do have an Instagram handle. It's at Azeli Ishmael, Azeli_Ishmael. I have a website, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's a focus pulling website. It's www.ishmaelazeli.co.ke.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming aboard, having a sit down with us. And I'm looking forward to watching more of the jobs.
Yeah, thanks as well for hosting me, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Ishmael. Have an amazing day.
You too.
Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can catch a more in-depth conversation that I have with Ishmael in our podcast. Link in description. See you on the next one.